Prince Ali and the President. Get your copy today on Amazon.com and all of the other books. From the 8-part series, Prince Ali and the President, Volume 1 through to Volume 8. Well, the President brought the receipts from wherever he is. He brought the receipts. I have said my piece, and I'll continue to say my portion for as long as it takes, because this problem is bigger than Irfaan Ali. It is bigger than 150 acres of land, bigger than that. What you're seeing playing out in politics in Guyana and in the public's domain, it's a treasure grab. Pirates trying to steal the treasure of the presidency. Wolves in sheep's clothing, pretending that they are PPP, pretending that they are a part of the Ali government, but while poisoning the root of the government, so it dies a slow death. But I'm one of the miracle workers. I have been anointed by God to perform miracles, to heal the sick, to give life to the dying. And now I'll make it personal, as an Ali loyalist, I shall continue to lay my hands over the office of the President so that no weapon formed against President Ali shall prosper. Not one. He shall have a wonderful, full-term, well-matured presidency to the max. And you would not blemish his record. You would not tarnish his legacy because of your hunger to be president. Not on my watch. You know what I'm drinking? I don't have to announce it every time. Every time I have to say what I'm drinking. It's coffee. It's coffee. Mr. President, Irfaan Ali, a lot of you may think that I'm trying to slime to Guyanese critic because I want Guyanese critic to come and help me out. Who am I compared to the critic? I am but a baby, an infant, a toddler, compared to the man, the Guyanese critic. When it comes to popularity and social media presence, I am nothing. Guyanese critic is the daddy. I'm junior. So yes, if I'm sliming to daddy, to ask him to, hey, stop with this promoting businesses and trucks and all these kinds of stuff and fight for your president, fight for your government, yes, then I'm sliming. So again, I'm going to ask the president, is it within your capacity, sir, to remove that turtle, that little teenage girl that you have as your director of public information? What do I call the guy again? Eddie Lane? Eddie Lane behaves like a teenage girl. Always want to be seen in the crowd. But ain't serving any purpose. just want to show up to be seen, as if the presence, as if the fact that he is seen gives them validation for what I don't know. Mr. President, can you please fire Eddie Lane? I called for a press secretary, but you have a Department of Public Information, Ministry of Information rather, headed by Kwame McCoy, and you have the director for that department, headed by an imbecile who only walks around with a phone camera, filming some stupid stuff and posting it on an official government page. Can you have the Guyanese critic assume that position as director of the Department of Public Information, therein working directly with the Office of the President to represent information giving on behalf of the President? Give Guyanese critic the job. Send that little girl home. Because no grown man, no Eddie Lane, listen to me. Listen to me. And if you fellas know me, I make no apologies. I don't give a fuck if your feelings is hurt. That's your problem. This is a merit-based position. The position that you hold, Eddie Lane, is not a political appointee. It's a position where you have to have capacity. You got to use your brain. You got to be skillful tactics. You got to be crafty. You have to know how to disseminate information. If you can't do it, surround yourself with people who can advise you and get them to do it. You are there to direct. So far, from what I've seen, the only directing you're doing is showing up with the president just to be seen in pictures with the president to what? To get pussy? Don't you have a wife? Is everybody now fleecing the opportunity of being in a picture with the president just so they can trade it for what? What you trade it for? Money? Pussy what? Those positions are very important not to be played with. Give Guyanese critic that position as a director of public information. He will do a better job. He will do a better job. You have this teenage girl, listen to me. The fact that you have a phone and the camera on your phone, whatever it's iPhone or Samsung 12 Ultra or whatever it is, and you, the director, is filming. You are uploading it on Facebook. What the fuck? What's wrong with you people, man? What's the matter with your head? The government, the president has entrusted you in that capacity to be the director of that office. For you to be having a phone filming, what kind of a ghetto shit is that? You take the nigger out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the nigger. You think I can be director of what, and I have a phone filming anybody? You think I can be the director of public information, and the president can tell me, why don't you film something? I said, Mr. President, you're disrespectful. You want me to film you? Keep your position. That's the reason why you have staff. You have NCN. You have all these news agencies that are linked to the government. They have camera people, editors, producers. You have a team always with you on the ground wherever the president goes. Any official statement, it is made not from the president's mouth. It is filtered, vetted, so it comes. So whoever runs with it after that, it is something that was substantiated and proven. The president has to always be thinking on his feet. He has a country to run. He has billions and billions and billions to budget. He has all these ministries, all these agencies. He has all of that to focus on. While all of these leeches running around behind the man just collecting taxpayers' money and they're doing nothing, the director of public information is doing nothing. How can he hold such an office? And it's a waste of a time. Give the Guyanese critic that position. I'm sure he will take it. It's about vision. I checked the page for this fellow, Eddie Lane. I checked out Eddie Lane's page. You have 17,000 followers because you're there for since 2020, since the 19 whatever. But when you post something on behalf of the government, you only have 400 views, 200 views, 100 views, and you are the director of public information and nobody wants to listen to what you post because you never take the time yourself to come on the camera and disseminate information in an official capacity on behalf of the government. You're just filming and posting. What are you there for? Kwame McCoy, isn't this man under you? Minister McCoy. Like you did yesterday, Kwame. On many occasions, you yourself come on camera after the fact. You should come before the fact. But you come on camera after the fact. But the point is, what I appreciate about you, Kwame McCoy, is that you come on camera. But you are the minister. You have an idiot as your right hand, so to speak, the director of the Department of Public Information. And he never comes on camera. But you, the minister, has to do it. Fire this nigger, man. Get rid of him. If you have issues with the Guyanese critic, if Guyanese critic don't want to do it, don't put Niaz Subhan to run NCN. Niaz Subhan has more potential. Niaz Subhan has more potential. Give the directorship to Niaz Subhan. Give him that. Let him be the director of the information. Give it to Niaz Subhan. Or that other fellow, what's his name? Romel something that they were trying to scandalize him to the other day, saying that they received 5 salaries. I don't care how much salaries you receive. If you are delivering on your job, then you have a right to be compensated. But so far, for what I've seen, a lot of people are getting fat on the alley. They're fleecing, they're leeching, they're bleaches, but they're not functioning. They're driving around with security with big fancy cars, but they're not functioning. The president has to do everything. Absolutely everything. He's always vulnerable. He's always at the forefront. Then why you have all these departments, Mr. President? Just to pay them? Get rid of that guy because he has a track record of laziness. He's doing nothing. Get rid of him. Kwame McCoy, fire that guy, put the Guyanese critic. If the Guyanese critic don't want the job, give it to Niaz Subhan. Or find somebody competent. A seasoned journalist to hold that position. This shouldn't be about politics. You put square pegs in round holes. That's what you call this Eddie Lane guy. He's a square peg in a round hole. Men like that can't fuck women. They can't even find the hole where it is. This is an embarrassment. Every time the president has to come and address issues, and you have an entire department with tens, hundreds of staff across the ministries. And you have to come and face the public every time, Mr. President. You have to come and face the public. Send these people home. They'll survive. They're already getting cash grant, right? They'll survive. Moving on. Attorney General. When I asked you to respond yesterday, I didn't mean your show last night. That's not the idea I had of a response. Your issues in the news. I had to subject myself to 1 hour of pain to listen to you rambling over unimportant issues and you spend 30 seconds in a 1 hour bracket, 30 seconds, Mr. Attorney General, and in Nandalal, you spend 30 seconds on the biggest political story in Guyana. 30 seconds. And for the entire hour, you talk about a bunch of bullshit. Fucking squatters, pensions for president, APNU with this nonsense. Who gives a fuck? Attorney, who gives a fuck? You think people will share that shit? You want people to share that nonsense about niggas squatting? Since you were a kid, Attorney General, since you were a kid, during the Barnum time, niggas were squatting. That's what they do. And when the Indians see niggers are squatting, they do it too. People know squatting is illegal. They know that. They learned it in school. They learned it in Sunday school. God told them, covet not thy neighbor's property. They know they ain't supposed to squat. You mean you have to spend 30 minutes politicking over squatting? Fuck, man. This is why I said the invisible enemy. Your president is under attack by vampires within the country, possibly from his own party. And you have an opportunity. You waited until you have issues in the news, and the only issue in your news that required 1 hour of your attention as Attorney General is fucking squatters. Squatters. And then you spend some time on pension for the president. That's important. That is what Guyanese want to hear. That is what people all over the world want to hear. That Guyanese people are still squatting. Look in New York. They call them the homeless, right? Look in Paris, in England, in Canada, all over the world, they squat. And you have to spend an whole hour to talk about that nonsense? Instead of addressing the most important issue in the news, which is the attacks on your president. You had the opportunity to let people understand how the Mohammeds broke the law. You had the opportunity to tell Guyanese it is illegal to trespass with drones, that there are laws against that. Even if it's an issue that the president has to talk about. It's all of our problem. The president's problem is everybody's problem. Especially if you are a cabinet minister and you are getting fat on Ali's policies. You should run at every opportunity you get to defend the credibility of the president. But instead, Attorney General, you spend an hour talking a bunch of bullshit. Instead of talking, instead of warning, instead of defending the credibility of your president, instead of telling the Guyanese the information that the president has delivered so far, the documentation that he has shared so far, instead of you authenticating it, putting your office behind it, you ignored it. You ignored it. I don't want to talk about it. The president say when he comes back from St. Lucia, like the president, what the fuck, man? This is why people are saying you are the enemy. Which country you get that? People are running to defend their president. Look at America. Whenever there's a scandal against Donald Trump, everybody is at his defense. All his cabinet ministers. He don't have to say shit. Everybody's there. And now, a president that has blessed Guyana, that is now vulnerable to attack from the enemy, you, the legal protection of that president, the advisor, All you can say when you have the opportunity to say something is, well, let the president, when he comes back, he'll deal with that. This is why men get divorced. If you can't stand up for your wife and you're saying, well, it's her problem, let her deal with it. When she deals with the problem and get it dealt with, divorce your stupid ass. This is why men get divorced. Because the man is not willing to stand up and defend and fight for his wife. Real men do that. All the men in the PPP right now, all the cabinet ministers, you should have been using your platform to defend your president. To defend your president. But all you is like, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. Why? Because you have skeletons in your closet too. And you are afraid that if you talk out, Mohammed is going to wake up the Jumbi. He's going to invoke the spirit and come after you two and expose your skeletons. You are afraid of that. That's why a lot of you are keeping your mouth shut, because you don't want to mess with the Mohammeds. Fuck the Mohammeds, man. Mr. Attorney General, it is confirmed. It is confirmed. Maybe you are the person behind all of this. You're not willing to defend the president. I know you guys have to play politics. The president will defend you for not defending him. Because there should not be any sign that there is division or weakness in the party. But we ain't stupid. We are not stupid. When Jagdeo was attacked during his regime, and all the propaganda, all the stuff the PNC was pushing, did you see how the ministers on the Jagdeo defended him? Even Irfaan Ali fought to preserve the credibility of Jagdeo. Even Irfaan Ali defended his president then. Even Irfaan. Also Ramatar. Now nobody wants to come to his defense. Because what? They think they can do a better job? Do you think you can do a better job, Attorney General? You won't get that chance. At least the Minister of Agriculture tried. The Minister of Agriculture, he tried. He did what he could do. Because all of this comes under his ministry. Housing and land, and so it comes under that. But my beef here is with Kwame, Minister Kwame McCoy, and those losers you have in your department. Did you hear Kwame McCoy? Did you hear what that asshole Farouk Juman said? That the person you sent him to talked disrespectful about you, Minister Kwame. Somebody in your office that you referred Kwame Farouk to gossiped and tried to smear you, the minister, to this asshole who came back and announced it on his radio program. Minister Kwame, the fact that Farouk Juman could have said what he said and then could have supported his rhetoric by saying that your staff also joined with him to criticize you, you should have fired that staff. You should have fired that staff. Let him go to the PNC and complain. Let him go to Coretta Scott. Well, she's the education staff, but let him go to the whatever union and complain. But you should have fired them, because those are the enemies that you need to watch out for. That is how you deal with these defectors. Fire them. I want to share something with you, my fellow Guyanese. You see, They're making an issue about 150 acres of land that the president was busy securing for a long time. It took him a while to convince investors, convince banks, convince all these people to invest in the project. It took him a while. Like every other startup, you need to convince people to come on board with you. I have a lot of great ideas. I talk to companies and business people to back my ideas, but so far, they're putting me on hold. But if I become minister, you will see how quick they're going to call me. Hey, I mean, I would be very happy to join to invest in your project. Oh, yes. Because they're not investing in my project. They're investing in access. Access. When you become minister or you become president, then people come chasing, falling at your feet, giving you all kinds of expensive gifts and begging for your attention. Why? Because they want access. They're bribing and buying access. So all the people who would have turned down Irfaan Ali, as Mohammed said, during 2015, 2020, Irfaan alone would be at the Palm Court on Main Street by himself. Nobody invites him. Nobody acknowledges him. Nobody gives a fuck about him. They forgot the fact that he was minister a few times and he helped them. He was in the government and he helped them. They forgot all of that. To them, you're not minister right now. They don't need him. You forgot Mohammed said that. People treated Irfaan like an outcast because he was overweight. Nobody wanted to get close to him. Nobody wanted anything to do with him. Remember, Mohammed said that. All that time, Irfaan had his plan together to invest in the agriculture sector all the time. He didn't wait to become president to do that. But nobody wanted to invest with him. The banks put him on hold. Because to them, you're not in government. The PPP is not in government, and it doesn't seem like they're going to win again, so we can't risk it. How are you going to pay this loan? But all the loans, all the people who turned their backs, resurfaced after 2020. Now everybody showing up with a fake smile on their face, with their hypocritical self. Oh, Mr. President, oh my gosh, I tried to reach you. What happened to your number? Oh, I have the same number. Oh, maybe I lost my phone. Same people, including the Mohammeds. So what you think? Don't you think the president, now Irfaan Ali would say, well, I still have that project I want to get started. But since I am president, it's a conflict of interest. I can't be directly involved. But I still need to get the project going. Remember, I've been planning this for years. Are you still interested in investing in this project? Oh, yes, Mr. President. Oh, of course, yes. Let's put a management team aside, and they would push the project. When you are out of office, you can get involved in it. That's how it works. All the banks that would have turned him down approve the loans because they want access. This is no longer just a minister. This is the president. As a minister, he couldn't get this done. Even as a minister, no, because to them, you can be fired as a minister, but not as a president. His loans were secured based on the fact that he was a president. He's president, and as long as he does a good job, he can be president for 2 more years. And in 10 years, the loans can be serviced by investors, by debt write-off. So let's put that aside. Let's put that to sleep. The man is innocent. He has done nothing wrong. President Irfaan Ali has done nothing wrong. Understand that. Don't subject the man to this embarrassment to have to run to bring paper and call some friend somewhere to do character testimony and get this stamp and this stamp and this stamp. Fuck Azruddin Mohammed and his posthole self. Irfaan Ali, the president, don't have to stoop to nobody. To nobody. The last person to talk about corruption is Mohammed. Let me drop some receipts here, in case you forget. I'm dealing with the PNC. They're a bunch of lowlifes. All right? Let me remind you, the Mohammeds, Azruddin and his father, not their company, they cheated, defrauded 50 million American dollars in royalties and taxes. 50 million. Do the math and find out how much billion that is. You're insulting my president over 5 billion. What the fuck is 5 billion Guyana dollars? Or you think it's 5 billion US dollars? Or you think it's 5 billion American dollars? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You are some fucking losers. You think it's 5 billion US dollars? It is 5 billion Guyana dollars. Guyana dollars. How much does a 20-acre rice farm cost to cultivate? Just 20 acres. How much loan a rice farmer has to take to cultivate 20 acres of rice land? Just that. Just that. Find out. Just find out. Secondly, the Mohammeds, 50 million American dollars. That's one. 10,000 kilograms of gold. The Lamborghini tax issue, 1 million American dollars. Remember they seized some gold bars? This isn't allegedly. This is not allegedly. Remember in 2020, in what is it, 2023, but during the past 5 years, that they seized $5.3 million in gold bars from the Mohammeds just recently. How much is 5.3 million American dollars? How much billion Guyana dollars is that? We're only talking about that as cash. 50 million plus 10,000 kilograms of gold plus 1 million in the Lamborghini, then 5.3 million. That would take it to almost 57 million. That's just for that. How many apartments and properties the Mohammeds own in Georgetown alone? Rental properties, commercial properties. How many? Enormous. What's the values to those properties? Billions. Look at Hadi's World. Hadi's World is also sanctioned by the US. Hadi's World are linked to trawler, to tugboats, to other shipping vessels. They are connected to that company. And Hadi's World is supposed to be selling clothes, fashion wear. But they have all of these other businesses that are connected to that enterprise. That was sanctioned too. Talk about the luxury vehicle they were selling. Talk about the bulldozer, the HIMAC, the dragline. All these things the Mohammeds were selling illegally. That was shut down. And you want to smear the name of a president over a fucking farm that he borrowed money for to feed you hungry belly motherfuckers? And it's not even up and running yet. You know how long it will take for that man to recover a cent? You know how long it would take for Ali to see a profit and his investors to get their money back? Maybe 10, 15 years. This ain't no overnight thing like this asshole is trying to tell you. This ain't Ali digging for gold and he sells it to get his money back. No. This is why people didn't want to invest in agriculture in a project like that, because they don't want to wait the time it takes to recover an investment. I said the other day about ExxonMobil and the oil and the people who are drilling for oil. You think Guyanese would have invested their money to do that? No, because they want to see returns immediately. Now, fucking now. They're going to be like them niggas. Go buy a minibus, pay BM Sots or whoever it is, 200,000 Guyana dollars, you get a bus. They want to see money every day. That's the mentality. That's the level of entrepreneurship of them niggas who are pushing this shit on Facebook and on social media. Yeah, like Travis Chase and Gordon Mosley and all these others. That's their business. Get a media platform, produce some news, and you get some Indians to sponsor it. You make no investment, no effort. A white man's platform, a Chinese man's telephone, the Indian man's intranet. All they do was black asses. They come in front of the camera, use their voices, and they produce some content, and they get Indian people to sponsor it. That's the mentality of entrepreneurship with these fucking niggas. That's their level of creativity in business. Oh, they're businessmen like that. Just like Campbell. Yeah, Campbell, PNC leader. You said you did more charity than Azruddin. And you said talking about the good you do would not get you votes. You should have talked about it. Azruddin talked about it. He pushed it. He ran with it. It got him votes. You shut up. It didn't get you votes. Too bad. Guyanese, understand. President Irfaan Ali has done what any decent business-minded person would do. Invest for the benefit of his country, for future generations. I want to show a contrast here. I want to show a contrast here. The contrast I want to show is you have a lot of rice companies, Region 9 area, Berbice area, and these areas that have leased. They didn't buy, they lease, meaning it didn't cost them anything. They produced a plan to the government. I want to go in agriculture. I want to do in this. I want to do rice. I want to do this. And the government gave them access to public land. 500 acres, 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, 8,000 acres. There is one company that operates somewhere in Region 9. They have, since 2010, 29,000 acres of land. 29,000 acres of land. The circumference of Guyana is 83,000 square miles. 29,000 acres of land. It's a village. You can build hundreds of houses. It's a village. You can have hospitals, police station, schools, recreational centers, residential building, low-income houses. You can have all of that in an area of 29,000 square acres. Yes, there's a company, a Bajan/Guyanese company that is in rice farming, livestock, cattle, other agriculture products, that they have been doing business. They have developed, and 8,000 of that land is cultivated for rice. Of the 29,000, 8,000 is cultivated for rice. Why the fuck the opposition leader don't fly his drones over that location? So let Guyanese see who was helping to feed them since 2010. And 2010 to now is what, like 16 years? You think that company, with the investment they made to develop that 29,000 acres of land, you think they have recovered their investment in 16 years? You think they paid their bank loans in 16 years? No. You know how much employment they have created from that project? People who are planting rice farms, who has 500 acres of government land, state land. They can't convert it to nothing else. When they are finished doing their rice farming, they deliver the land back to the government. Or the government can bargain with them and say, hey, okay, what you have spent to develop this land, we're going to try to compensate you. Then the government take the land back, and the government now develops that land into housing projects. None of these lands are owned by these people. The land that President Irfaan Ali has secured, he don't own it. It is leased from the people of Guyana. He don't have the deed to that 150 acres of land. It's leased. Because of the program that he laid out to the government then, this is what I want to do. And because he was tied to the PPP, he got pushed around. But Irfaan Ali is a small, very small investor of 150 acres of land. Very small. People have 500 acres of land, and all they're doing with it is farming rice. When they cultivate their rice, they have to wait until that rice is ready to harvest. In the meantime, nobody has a job. How much people do you think they can employ to sow the rice and to harvest the rice? They have combines to harvest the rice. They don't need manpower to go and pluck like back in the day. How many people do you think are employed with rice factories? But this project that the president has risked the future of himself and his children to paying back these loans, how much people have been employed so far? And this is not just for the development of the project. They have to keep staff on team. Hundreds of people. Thanks to that asshole, that stupid ass post-mouth man of telling us Irfaan Ali also creates jobs for people. All of these people that have been there on that project, it is still ongoing. There is no money coming from that, but these people have to be paid. So the president and his investors must sustain the workforce. They have to have a capital spending so they can pay their workforce while they are completing the process until they can be able to start selling, producing. But right now they're not. It's loans on loans. You have to have talk to the critic. I mean, the critic is the best is one of the better man to explain this, because he would know you have to have an overdraft to complete a contract. Otherwise, to that, you can't pay your staff. But there are many, many Guyanese. The Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Housing and Lands and Survey, and all these people, they would know how many Guyanese have leased government land for agriculture development, cattle ranching, livestock. Tens of thousands of acres are given out every month or whenever it is for those projects. Let the Mohammeds reveal how much they got for their housing project. But so far, nobody's living in their housing project because they don't want black people to rent their buildings. And since Indo-Guyanese don't rent buildings, they don't pay rent, they rather go to the bank, take a loan, build a house, and pay the bank the loan than to pay rent for the rest of their lives. Indian people don't do that. They rather pay a mortgage for the rest of their lives, not somebody rent. That's what niggers do. So the Mohammeds' buildings are empty because they don't want black people living with them. Why? Because black people are loud, they're nasty. There's always a party every weekend. They have a whole gang showing up. They fight, they cuss. They're pissing around everywhere. So the Mohammeds don't want them. And since Indians don't want to go and rent from the Mohammeds are waiting for the Brazilians, the Dominicans, the Colombians, the Cubans to come. And then they can raise and give them exorbitant rent prices. And those people have to work like slaves, live 20 in one small room just to pay their rent. But they prefer that. At least they're light skinned. They don't want niggers. But the fact of the matter is, Guyanese, what you're chastising President Irfaan Ali for is unfair. There are many other bigger players that have secured government land, state land as we call it, and all of these are lease land. 99 years, 100 years lease. Not 100 year, but 99-year lease. For them to develop it, and whatever they're doing, it benefits the country. All those people that are in the gold mining business, like the Mohammeds, you think they own those land that they're mining? Lease. The Mohammeds were one of the biggest gold dealers in the country. Let them say how much. Let the Mohammeds say how much land they leased from the government for the years they spent in the gold business. Let them say how much thousands of acres and how they destroyed the interior, dig holes and leave it like that, damage the infrastructure, destroy the forestry. Let them say what they have done. They were one of the largest, the biggest. They did the most damage. Cyanide in the water. They did the most damage. You think all them wealth he's flaunting around, it just come like that? Do you know what 10,000 kilograms of gold is? You have any idea what it is? Google it. Google will give you a sense of an impression as to what 10,000 kilograms of gold is. They extract that from your interior, from the land in Guyana. You're pressuring ExxonMobil to pay more royalty with the oil from the water. Ain't on the coast, water. But you are silent from the damage and destruction the Mohammeds caused in the interior an area that needs to be preserved so that global warming could not be a threat. Preserve the forestry. They destroyed the forestry and paid no royalty. And that's okay for you. But you pressure ExxonMobil and Shell and all these companies to pay royalty, and they're in the waters way, way, way from the coast. But the Mohammeds that did nothing from the billions they stole, you're now listening to him telling you that the president has a private ranch of 150 acres, and you have hundreds of developers that has private estates of 500 acres, 1,000 acres, 8,000 acres, and one of the largest is 29,000 acres, private developers. And you only focus on a fucking 150 acres that has burdened this man for years to develop and can't even finish it because of the massive scale of investment it requires. Can't even finish it. And that is breaking news. That is breaking news. I'm here and I know all that. I am here and I know all that. And you have a Department of Public Information with a teenage girl as a director. And she ain't no shit. Running around with the president in every occasion, opportunity he gets. And ain't no shit. And I know all the stuff I just talked about. Minister Kwame McCoy, fire that man, hire a critic or somebody else who is more capable. And when they come for the interview, tell them, please, I don't want to see you with your phone filming. Tell them that. Say, hey, you're a director, I don't want to see you with your phone filming anything. I want to see you in front of the camera whenever it needs to be, representing your government and speaking on behalf of the president. That's what you need to be doing. But my fellow Guyanese, there are bigger and more important matters that must grasp your attention. But seeing this as some breaking news and echoing the sentiments of a corrupt regime like the PNC, APNU, that has a long list of corruption and scandals, at Durban Park, all the other issues that they were tied to, wanting to fraud the elections, all the embezzlement, all the land that they stole. You're forgetting that these people have done worse. Now they're coming out because they had nothing else to talk about. They are irrelevant, unimportant. Mohammed gets some leakage from somebody from the PPP. I know everybody jumped on it to say, oh my gosh, corruption, fucking corruption. The man is president and he still think about how can I feed these hungry belly, fucking ungrateful people. Put himself in debt to get involved in fishery. He could have just bought some trawlers and sent people out to the sea. It's cheaper. Catch the fish, bring it and sell it. Cheaper. Faster. He didn't have to invest in a whole aqua farm to get specialized fish and got to see them raised, take care of them. It's a tedious process. He didn't have to do that. It's costly only to sell to a bunch of ungrateful people. You know how degrading that is? The next you call the man a fisherman. He's selling fish. He's selling meat. He's a butcher. It takes humility to get involved in that kind of sector. Humility to be a farmer, rear cattle, do agriculture. It takes humility. He could have gone in some hotel chain. Then that'll be another thing. There are many other areas the president could have gone in. Because he's a politician, he can't be a businessman too. Because he can't be a businessman too. When he retires as president, then what? He'll be 50. Then what? Live on pension? He must do nothing else with his life? $50 is the new 25. 50 is the new 25. You have a long, long, long road ahead. There's a lot you can do. Donald Trump is 80 and he's president and still fucking, still fighting. 80. And you want a president who retires as 50 to call it quit? Look, go fuck yourself, man. I'm serious. Stop with this nonsense. Or 50 acres. You're giving credence to a criminal like Azruddin Mohammed. When he's gone, what will you do? Look at who is calling, making noise on his camp. Him and his sister. Him and his sister. The other common sense politicians in his camp, they have no time with him. They're not a part of it. They're making it clear, we are not a part of it. Because they know he has to go. You think the Americans are going to turn their back? They said it as recent as the anniversary celebration last week. We will get our boy. How long can the CCJ hold on to that case? 3 months? I don't think so. No matter how they pussyfoot around, they have to drop the hammer. They have to. When they drop the hammer and Mohammed is gone, who will be barking them then? Shara Duncan? Ganesh Mahipal? Who shall be barking then? You think Hannah would have any time with that? She'll be busy spending the money, paying pimps to fuck her. She ain't got time with politics after that. You think she has time with that? She would just be the desired opposition leader in the place of her brother. And after a while, she said, fuck this. I have all these luxury cars to drive. I'll drive them and get some little boy somewhere to eat my pussy while I drive. I never had that experience. I want that experience. And the rest of you, what, you're going to start talking good for President Ali? Because he'll be there until 2030. Your plans, Mohammed, ain't going to materialize. You want protest, right? You want protest. You think the PNC will give you that credit? You think the PNC will give you that credit to support any protest agenda with you so that you get credit for causing chaos? No. That's PNC thing. That is PNC thing. PNC calls for protest. Not you, you little shit. You don't call for protest. Who the fuck are you? Look at the people who turn out at your little camp out, your vigil. Look who turned up. You walk with your television. I mean, that's the smallest one you could find. You walk with your television to what? You don't think they saw enough on your page? You want to show them on big screen? What are you, fucking masterclass on being a stupid ass? Look at the people who showed up. That's what your money could afford. You're trespassing again, showing movie night. You're 23 minutes, whatever, with your mic. You couldn't do that during campaign trail. You get more courage now. You alone now can hold the mic. You get more courage now. Then you were a pussy. You wanted the black people to get you votes. You got the votes. Now you don't need them enough. You don't need them anymore. You are the one who's talking for yourself now. But look who showed up. Look who showed up at your meeting yesterday. You thought you'll have, what, tens of thousands of people come out to watch you and your shit face? Our president, Irfaan Ali, is a good man. Otherwise, I tell you folks, I tell you this. Nobody pays me a salary. I get no donations, no support from the People's Progressive Party and not from the president. None. I hope you're listening, Kwame McCoy. I hope you're listening. Nobody supports me. So whatever I'm doing is from the heart. Because I believe, I trust, and I know, as a matter of fact, that Guyana is better off. My offspring is better off because of Irfaan Ali. And I have to support that. I can't allow anything to threaten that. That is my reward, knowing that the country is blessed, is progressing, and the whole world is envious of how Guyana has transformed herself since 2020, because Guyana has finally found the right sugar daddy. She finally got the right sugar daddy. And he has made her so happy that them lowlifes in the country are damaging the roads, damaging public infrastructure, abusing the healthcare system because they're killing themselves. They're abusing themselves and running because the healthcare is free. They're crashing the hospitals and crashing all these places because it's free. And now they want to join with a demonic billionaire who stole money from the country, an opposition party that no longer exists, to say they have ammunition. They're calling on some, what is it, Truth and Reconciliation Committee, that organization that the president has already announced, and who have, when they go to declare their assets before they get into office, they're calling for independent international to come and investigate. Again, I am sure that organization that they call the agency that deals with corruption and whatever it is, I'm sure that 99% of the persons working there are black people. Black people. I'm sure. Or PNC. How I know? Because the thing about niggas is that, oh, we want international FBI, independent investigators to come in. That is always their best strategy. Always. Just to make it seem like they're credible. They are incapable because you can't trust them. So they're saying, don't worry about us. Let's bring some other people. And to get the other people, you have to do it through them. So it means that they need the money to hire the other people to come in to do the job that they should be doing. I am saying this ain't no hoax like Adriana case that you want in independent fact checkers. No. I am saying enough of that nonsense. Enough of that nonsense. That is what I'm saying. The president should not open his facility. It is not a tourism destination. It is not a public park. It is not a museum that anybody should have access. It is a project that is still being developed. It is not official yet. It is not completed. It's not been certified to be operating. So therefore, nobody should have access there. Nobody. Mr. President, do not take any cameras there. They have seen enough. And the fact that they have seen enough, the man responsible for that, Azruddin Mohammed, should be before the courts for trespassing. The Attorney General should have spent some time on his podcast to talk about the crimes of trespassing instead of fucking squatters and pension for presidents. Still got a little coffee left. I'll leave some for the next time. But for now, click the like button, click the subscribe button. I need you to talk to your president in the comment section. Fuck all them scrapes and scraps who coming online and talking a bunch of shit. They have nothing on me. Everything they can say is fabricated, whatever. I don't bother with them. You, the common sense listeners and viewers, you can deal with them. You deal with them. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to drop to that level. You deal with them. The same way the president should have left this issue for his people, his information people to deal with. I'm saying to you, the fans, the loyalists from the government, from Guyana, the lovers of Irfaan Ali, deal with them pussies who want to come online and comment the dog shit. Handle them. You have my blessings. I can't cuss like them. I can't cuss like you. You can cuss them out. Share this live. And I need to see the numbers going up for the books. So remember, go online, Amazon.com. You buy a copy of my book. This is the last volume, which is 50 Shades of Black, Journey to the First Class Male. This is the reason why Guyana needs more first class citizens. So when you run for politics, you have first class people running for politics, another low class, the bottom house, mud face like Azruddin Mohammed. Buy him a copy, give him a copy. Give Azruddin Mohammed so he can go with it to federal prison and he can take a course in reading. So by the time he's finished, he can read the book. He and his father. They're trying to blackmail the president. It ain't gonna work. No matter who shares it, it's not going to work. Because Guyanese are smart. And Guyanese know the truth. And Guyanese know what to look for. Until next time, follow me on Facebook, on TikTok, on all the pages you see me there. And let's keep our president safe, our government safe, and our country on the road to progress. Until next time. Thanks for your attention. Goodbye.